Hello, and welcome to day 2 of the Free to Be Me business building vlog. Um, Today, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about where I'm going. And so I know that Free to Be Me, it was created right as I was getting Motion Code started. And so I've basically been using it to send invoices for Motion Code sessions and to promote that in itself. But I know that it's so much bigger. I don't know exactly what it's going to entail, but ultimately, Free to Be Me is about all people living their very best lives, living into their unique states, being the person that they were truly born to be without any patterning, without conditioning, without society's rules um, and boundaries that have been put in place over the years. And so, in order to do that for the next generation, we have to do that for ourselves. When we, as the adults, as the caregivers of the children, have all of that patterning, have all of that conditioning, have so much trapped trauma in our bodies, we're not able to show up wholly and fully for our kids. Even if we want to, like the best of us, we're triggered by things. Our kids start screaming and yelling, and it throws us back to a time that we were yelled at as kids for being, that exact way, screaming and yelling. Often we can't even remember what it is. It's just a nervous system response in our bodies, the tightening, attention. We want to run, we want to hide, we want to lash out. And so we end up yelling at the kids or isolating them or isolating ourselves because that is all that we have in order to deal with those situations. And so that is where the emotion code comes in. That's just one strategy for healing that trapped trauma, allowing it to be seen so that it can leave the body. And then that ultimately allows the caregivers to be there in a totally different way for the kids. And so that is the essence of Free to Be Me. But then there's just so many more intricacies, and we'll see what exactly is going to evolve out of that. But I had a great idea that I was going to share, and it just popped out of my head. So apparently that wasn't it. So what I originally was going to talk about was just how much I'm learning at the restaurant and the connections that are being made. It's so wild, so fun, actually. Because it's a new restaurant and the business, it has some things that need some help. Like the menu keeps changing. There's some things that just some kinks in the business and in the marketing that need to be fixed or remedied in different ways. And so I've just been making lists, and I am naturally just an editor. I always loved like editing papers, editing other people's papers. I'm really a harsh editor. And so I always preface that when somebody asks me to proofread something. I'm like, you don't have to take all of my suggestions, but I go kind of hard with the red pen. And I have a really high standard for things in my community. And so I want to swoop in and fix things. And I used to see that as like a pattern that I need to break. Like, you don't need to fix things, but I'm also starting to embrace it as part of my genius, as part of my gift. And right now, meditation either last night or this morning, it became so clear that this restaurant experience is just a reflection of my own experience, and that I can so easily look at all the things that need to be shifted in the restaurant. And I'm making lists, and I'm like, who should I tell? And blah, blah, blah. And oh my gosh, it's really for me. Because if I take those exact lists, even like have a clear menu, have options, have blah, 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 that's exactly what I need on my website. That's exactly what I need in my own social media. It's exactly what I need in all areas of my life. And so in my life in regards to Free to Be Me, and probably in my larger life as well. So I'm excited to take those lessons that I'm learning in a different arena, and to to use them in my own life. And yeah, so I'm just going to keep it there. We'll be nice and short. That is day 2, a little bit of clarity around what the business is and being able to use this editing skill that I have, that I've been gifted with, this desire to fix things and put them all in order, to actually apply them to my own life and in ways that will benefit people in the world by putting out my gifts, that the genius that I know I was born with and that is here to be shared. So thanks for coming along on the journey. If you have started a project, I know I made that an invitation, or if you already are in the midst of a project that you'd like to share, please leave a comment. Ultimately, maybe we'll even, if there are some people who decide to start over the months, some different projects, maybe we can even have like a podcast style like conversation about doing projects and getting things done and putting our genius out into the world, because we have to. Like, this is what we were born to do. I just had an amazing chat, emotion code session with my dear, dear, dear friend Sufi, where we just end up having the biggest revelations and like great ideas. And every time we're like, we should have recorded that. And interesting. Every time I go back to that conversation, it leaves my mind. So I think that's just going to be for another day. But the point was just ultimately that there's so much passion to be had in just following what lights you up, following your bliss, doing the things that make you feel so good. I just had like that's what I was going to say, little tiny ideas for things. And she was like, you should be a business strategist. And I'm like, I only do this with you. But it's not true. I'm doing it with the restaurant. I'm doing it, right? Sometimes it's hard for us to see what our genius is, what our gifts are. But when we let other people in our lives reflect that back to us, it can be really helpful. So if you have not picked a project, if you don't have a project, if you don't know what your thing is, ask the people around you. Just have a couple open-ended questions. You can share this video and get some ideas. Leave them in the comments. We could always chat and brainstorm, come up with some different things. Just try them, because from my own experience, it is the only way.